It's summer, and it's the law. If you have a balcony, you have to start using it when the weather gets good. Thanks to everyone who throws their money into the bottomless pit that is my book buying habit. Welcome to Man on Books, where I talk about fantasy mostly, science fiction sometimes, and comics occasionally. I am out on my balcony, obviously. I've got the most refreshing summer drink imaginable. Cheers. And I've got what I read last month and what I'm reading or going to be reading this month. So let's get right into it, shall we? Don't be disturbed, hopefully, by the noises. The street out here, there's cars, there's people talking, there's birds, and all of these lovely trees behind me. So hopefully you can hear and understand me. Let's start with Chunktown. The Mad Ship, second book of the Live Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb. Second trilogy of the Realm of the Elderling 16-book series by Robin Hobb. This is such an amazing book. Wow. The first one of these, Ship of Magic, is it's a lot of setup, but it's very engaging. Amazing characters. It's not like the Farseer trilogy, if you've read that. It doesn't stick with one first-person perspective. It jumps around in third person to 5 or 6 different characters. This one, things really start going. Everything that was set up in the first book starts really getting traction in this one. It's super chunky. I still flew through it in a few days, just because I couldn't put it down. So highly recommended. So highly recommended. Read more Robin Hobb. I want that as a bumper sticker, but I don't have a car, so I'm not sure where I would put it. Second book I read, Sword of the Lictor. It's the third book in the Book of the New Sun. If you've been watching my monthly wrap-ups and TBRs recently, you know that I'm reading this with Philip Chase and a guy he knows, Paul Williams. And Philip and Paul and I have been doing a discussion video for each book. We're going to be discussing Sword of the Lictor on the 17th of this month. So keep an eye out for that. It's the whole weird, hard to understand, not sure exactly what's going on thing of the first 2 books starts to get a little more, not completely by any means, but a little more concrete and a little more solved in a way than the first 2 books. So things start making at least a little more sense. Not 100% sense, but a little more sense. It's the kind of book I love. I can totally understand that a lot of people might not love it. I think Gene Wolfe, the author, is an amazing genius. Just the way that he's layered the story and the symbolism that's throughout it, and how, even though a lot of things don't really make sense, it somehow hooked me. I have a hell of a lot of respect for Gene Wolfe as an author. I think it's worth giving this a try, but if it sounds like too much work for you, it may be that it is. So, last month I said I have a variety of shorter reads. I think I listed 4 in my last monthly video, and I wasn't sure what to pick. I was going to kind of mood pick, and then I decided, wait a sec, I have a Patreon. So I did a little survey with all of my Patreon patrons. Patreon patrons? Anyway, I did a little survey with everybody. And by far and away, the winner out of those 4 books I presented last time was a book whose title is funny to me. I have a good friend in Hamburg named Alessandro Pilodi.
Hi.
He's, as you could probably tell by the name, Italian. He's quite Italian. And like Italians, he has a particular accent. And every time I thought of the name of this book, I thought of him saying it. So the book I ended up reading was...
Piranesi.
That's right.
Piranesi.
It's not very thick. It's 200 something pages, I think. 244 pages. I flew through this. I think I read it in one day or 1.5 on a weekend. It was so engaging. It's a very weird mystery. There is some really, really strange shit going on. And I love strange shit going on where I don't know exactly what it all means. It gets me very much in detective mode, where I want to figure it out. If that kind of thing's not for you, then maybe the book's not for you. But it's a super interesting story. And there are so many dramatic revelations. There are some really dramatic twists where you realize over and over again, you think you realize over and over again what's going on. And then it shifts again. And the main character
Piranesi
is also just a charming, lovable fellow. I really, really enjoyed it. I am almost certain I will put it on my read again list. And it will be, with The Spear Cuts Through Water, it'll be on my Book of the Year shortlist, for sure. Highly recommended. I know it's a little divisive. I've heard of or from some people who weren't that crazy about it, which I can't imagine myself, but to each his own. Then I was in a very open mood. I've got a commitment to read a Realm of the Elderlings book every month, and I've got a commitment to read basically a Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe book every month with Philip. And other than that, I was kind of like, I don't really feel like making a plan. I'm just going to see what grabs me. What grabbed me after
Piranesi
was Jade City by Fonda Lee. I've heard so many good things about this. Basically, all you need to know is mobster, samurai-ish superheroes. That's basically the book. It's a book of a lot of intrigue and politics between different clan families who are essentially mobsters, but with an interesting history. They're not just criminals, but if they touch Jade, if anyone from this island where it's set, any of the local people, if they touch Jade, it gives them powers, or it provides a source of power that they can use in certain ways. And of course, the control of the Jade is a big issue. The Jade must flow, and it's basically a kind of a war beginning between these two big clan families. And it takes a little while to get started. For the first 125 pages, I was like, there's a lot of talking and thinking, but not much happening yet. But that was all just set up. It suddenly kind of explodes, and there's quite a lot of action, especially in the second half. Very exciting action, extremely well-written action. I did this back and forth between audio and reading with my eyeballs. I was in work, and I was running errands, so I'd throw on the headphones and listen to it, and then I'd switch and read the book. That proved to me to be a very disjointed feeling because they're so different experiences, audio booking and eyeball reading. I don't think I want to do that way again, but I was just kind of keen to use every free moment I had to get this finished. I'm hooked. I will definitely be continuing with the Greenbone Saga trilogy. So, as you can see, I'm back to Chonktown right now. I was sitting out here on this balcony just about half an hour ago, reading this, the third book in the Live Ship Traders series trilogy, Ship of Destiny. It's off to a good start, but I expect nothing less from Robin Hobb. So now we're already into my TBR, so to speak. So I am reading this already. Jade City overlapped a little bit into this month as well. I didn't finish it last month. I had a very light, for me, reading month last month. But Ship of Destiny So far, pretty good. I expect great things. I've read it before, so I know there are great things, but my memory is kind of garbage. So I'll be continuing with this first. When I finish that, normally I should get into the fourth book of the Book of the New Sun. Claw of the Conciliator. No, sorry. Citadel of the Autarch. Claw of the Conciliator is the second book. Citadel of the Autarch. I should be getting onto that this month, but our whole schedule, Philip and my schedule, has kind of drifted. So we're not doing the discussion for last month's book until the 17th of this month. So I don't think we really are going to do a discussion of the fourth book until sometime next month. So I'm skipping Book of the New Sun this month. Instead, I will be continuing my reading with Jade War. Jade City, in the end, hooked me enough, excited me enough, I enjoyed it enough that I want to dive into this immediately. As soon as I finished the book, I ordered this and Jade Legacy, the third book. I'm looking forward very much to getting into that. Then, again, I'm just sort of seeing what comes up. I'm not committing to anything long-term plan or anything like that. And what came up was Joanna wrote me. She and I have been vaguely planning a long price quartet read-along, buddy read, for a long time. It was just going to be the two of us. But then it turned out that Tori and a number of other people, I think Alex as well, a bunch of people, for some reason, this month are reading the first book of Long Price Quartet. So we decided to pull up our plan, our vague plan with no date, and get into the first book of the Long Price Quartet, which is Shadow in Summer. Alan has raved about this over and over again, and he badgers people to read it. I haven't personally experienced that badgering myself, but I have witnessed it. Alan! It's meant to be really good. So I'm looking forward to getting into this. I have no idea what it's like. I have really no concept of it at all. So we'll see. And then this one came up yesterday, kind of spontaneously. I was on Twitter and Tufty, shout out to Tufty. Tufty is one of my patrons, one of my regular watchers, and he wrote something about this book and said that he saw it recently on my channel. And then the author of the book, Ada Palmer, replied to my reply to him. Because I said, when I saw that she wrote the intro to the Book of the New Sun, the edition I have anyway, there's an intro by Ada Palmer. And when I saw that intro, I thought, okay, I have to read her books. And I bought To Like the Lightning. Science fiction. She said on Twitter, we had a bit of a back and forth chat about it. She said on Twitter, by the way, that's one of the things I love the most about Twitter, that you can just say something out into the ether and the author you're talking about personally replies to you. That's pretty cool. Anyway, it's set in 2454, so it's sci-fi future, and it sounds like it's a bit of a detective novel, a bit of a mystery, and she said that the layering of the story and the way the narrator of the story was constructed were both very clearly inspired by Gene Wolfe. So I am really, really interested to read this. We'll see if I get through all of this. I've been having a bit of a slow month last month and may not read a whole lot more than I did last month this month. And obviously I've been kind of slow with the videos. I'm giving myself space. I'm not pushing myself. I'm just doing it when I feel like it. And today is such a beautiful day on the balcony. I felt like it. So cheers. As usual, I hope you're well. I hope the weather is beautiful like this where you are. And keep reading awesome books. And I'll see you next time.